live, maybe? Mic's working. This one I gotta share. Come on. Briz is first. And only so far. Take a minute for people to get on. Gives me a little time to get ready. On that SSD controller, I can swap it from one from a different model. Yes, as long as it's the same model number. Just be careful soldering it. Because don't want your SSD to die. Alright, we are ready to get started. So, I've been asked to do this. People have been asking, well, what's so different about this Flux versus Amtech? And I'm going to show you guys. So, we have first and foremost, let's start with Amtech. I want to show you guys the date code, the batch code, everything on this. So, this came from Rossmann Repair Group, which is an authorized distributor. Here's the syringe. All right, come on, focus. Inventec Performance Chemicals, USA, LLC. Okay. Expiration May 9th, 2024. Lot number 102436. Okay. This is genuine product. Okay. And then we have our 759 ASX, which is our Flux. It's been out there for a few. So there's ours right there. This is our older labels. Our newer labels look like this. So we updated all of our newer labels. So you might get a new label, you might get an old label. It is the same product regardless of what you get. But anyway, I wanted to do a live demo on it versus Amtech. So the first thing we'll just demonstrate is just a little bit of cleanability. So I don't understand why people really care about this, but what people have complained about is, oh, it's hard to wipe up with a Q-tip, dry Q-tip before I've soldered on it. So what they mean is they put flux on the board, they try and wipe it up with the Q-tip, and it's sticky before it's activated. So I can't pull from 820-1700. No, you can. It has the same mark. It's the same chip, no different. So what we'll do first off, I want to just put a little bit of flux on the board. I'm going to start with Amtech, then I'll start with 759, and we'll just clean a little bit. So before we start also, I should announce that we've received feedback about the viscosity of 759 ASX. We found a way to reduce it without impacting performance, so it should be more likable to those that prefer a thinner viscosity flux by also not disappointing those that want a thicker flux. Anyway, let's go ahead and I think there we go. Not sure why this is so small, but there's that. Alright, so here's our little test board here. Let's get this in focus. Looking good. Alright. So just right here, Going to do a little bit of NC 559. This is the Amtech product. Grab a plunger. Where is a plunger? I know we had a plunger here. Here we go, right in front of my face. So here's a little bit of Amtech. That is Amtech, and we will wipe it up with a Q-tip. So this is a dry Q. Just took, see that, dry. All right, and then this side. Decent, right? Now we'll try the 759 ASX. I'm going to do it in the same spot. There's the 759 ASX. It's a little bit more translucent than the Amtech. It's more clear. And like so. Right about the same. Very, very similar performance. So the next thing we'll do is let's look at oxidative thickening and darkening. So if all flux oxidizes. That is a given. Every bit of flux, every brand of flux, no matter what brand you use, flux will oxidize. So by oxidize means darken, turn black, break down, right? So we're going to do it on these pads right here. We'll use 1/2 for 759 and 1/2 for 559. So what I'll do is I'm going to wipe this with acetone to clean it very well. Like so. We're going to get roughly the same amount of each as accurate as I could get it. So we will put about that much of Amtech. And we're going to be using the Hacko FM 2027 soldering iron with a BC2 tip. And I'm going to set the iron to 840 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the hottest that it'll get. So hottest it'll get. Let's wait for the beep. There we go. And we're also going to set a timer. So we are going to time this on how long it takes for the flux to thicken and lose its fluxing ability. Or stopwatch, I should say. So starting now. Not going to add any other solder. We're just going to heat. In the same circular-like fashion right here. Trying to go to my chat. So it's definitely darkening a little bit, nothing crazy. We're just going to keep going. You could zoom in a little bit on that so you guys can see better. We're basically going to keep going until the flux is not effective on being a flux. So basically when we start seeing dry joints, then that is what, or cold joints I should say, that's when we're going to stop. And we're getting there. See that? It's starting to lose its action. And it's getting to be pretty dark at the edges areas. So see that? It's starting to become cold joints there. See that? See how it looks? So I'm just going to keep going a little bit longer because there is still some fluxing action. There we go. Let me stop. So that is 2 minutes, around 2 minutes 15 seconds. So around 2 minutes 15 seconds, we're going to let the board cool down, and then we are going to try a cleanability test, both wet and dry. What I mean by that is with a dry Q-tip and a wet Q-tip with acetone. So it should be cool enough. Again, we're just trying to simulate real world conditions here. So done soldering. So this is a dry Q-tip. And it gets stuck to the board. Okay. See that? See how the fiber's getting stuck? So pretty, pretty ugly. And now I will try with the wet Q-tip with acetone. Again, to the people coming in chat, this is the NC559. And with the acetone Q-tip, it dissolves pretty good, but there is some hard residue there. See that? There's like rosin that's stuck to the board. So I'll see this right here. Yep. But otherwise, not really a problem if you have a solvent, isopropyl or acetone, any kind of nonpolar solvent like that. Works pretty well. So clean this up really well. Then we'll do the same thing with 759. I don't want residue there, just like Amtech. I don't want any residue. I want it to start with a clean surface. There's that. And we're going to put around the same amount. That's about right. Clean our tip. And I am going to start the stopwatch again. So right when I hit it here, 3, 2, 1, go. Whoops. I hit a timer instead. Well, the stopwatch is still going. I don't know why the timer is going off. There we go. Alright, we're at 34 seconds. Definitely some yellowing, which again, like I said, all fluxes will darken, will yellow. Some more than others, some not as much as others. We're at about a minute in now. Getting pretty dark there. It's like a yellow amber kind of honey color. We're at a minute 30 seconds. And we're going to keep going until there's a loss of fluxing action, where we see those dry, like Hershey's Kiss type joints. Definitely getting dark and thick. We're at 2 minutes 3 seconds, so this is right around when the Amtech started to give up. But we're still seeing nice shiny joints. And there we go. It's starting to, no, we're still going. Nope, there we go. I let the Amtech go a little bit after, so let's zoom in even closer. Yep, there we go. So stop it there. So around 2 minutes 40 seconds. So it lasted a little bit longer than Amtech. Not by a great portion, but it lasted a bit longer. So now we're going to let the board cool down. We're going to try and clean it with a dry Q-tip again and see what it does. Acetone or alcohol, what do you prefer to use? I personally like acetone. Alright, our board is cooled off. And around the same, we kind of have a little bit hard, and our fibers aren't sticking as much as the Amtech, but we still have that thick residue that the Amtech left, which is kind of typical for rosin fluxes. I mean, when they're exposed to heat, all the solvency gets dissipated, and then you have that right there. But with acetone or alcohol, it will clean up. And again, this is an extreme test. Like, this is not a true real world, but one thing also to look at is we kept going until the joints basically lost action, right? Where we lost that fluxing action. These are the joints that Amtech produced at that point, okay? I'll get a good look at those. And those are the joints 759 produced, even when it was burned and losing fluxing action. So quite a bit different there. So the next test I want to move on to is the fume, how much fumes both fluxes create. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put down a little bit of 559 here, just about that much, and we're going to see how much fumes each flux gives off. So these are visible fumes at 840. So I'm going to try and position this to the center of the scope, center of the image where you can see it the best, and here we go. Okay. Do the same thing for 759. It's about the same amount. Much less fumes. That is a very obvious win for 759. And we'll go ahead and just test cleanability again with each of these after being heated a little bit. So here is Amtech NC 559. The dry Q-tip, not bad. And here is 759. Also not bad. All right. Now we'll evaluate both fluxes and their drag soldering ability. So drag soldering is particularly important when you're doing like LCD connectors, something that requires you to drag the iron and minimize bridges. So we'll go ahead and start with the Amtech. We are going to give each flux a single line. So these are both 14 gauge syringes. Each flux is going to get a single thick line of flux to work with. Should be more than enough. So just like that, that is the NC559. We're going to prepare another board. Here's another board. Actually, let's keep it consistent. Let's grab the same 820. Gosh, it's been so long since I worked on that. 8204924. I miss the working on A1502s. here is the 759. Right here, we're going to give it the same thick line right along there. There we go. So let's start with the NC 559. We're going to lower it to 740. So we're going 740 Celsius with the same tip. We're going to feed a little bit of leaded solder in there. I'm just going to solder this how I normally would. What I usually like to do, I'll come across, I'll get as much as I can, then I'll come back for the bridges. And really what we want to evaluate is how much it's bridging. I'm going to keep going until the bridge is removed. I'm just going to go along here. Come on. And normally in a normal situation, what I do is just move this bridge to the backlight line where there's two pins right next to each other. But in this instance, I want to keep going until we fully remove it. We're not going to use wick either. Come on. There we go, it is gone. Okay, so that's the Amtech. And now we will go for the 759. So there's the 759. We're going to clean our tip. Same thing, we're going to get a little bit of leaded solder on our tip. Get this pad tinned up nice. Now see how I'm dragging the solder and it's simply not bridging? Okay, so I could drag this. I mean, we have a bridge there, but I'm dragging this along all the pins. It's just not bridging. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Now we'll try and remove it. I'll do the end little spot. right here. Come on, a little bit in there. Like so. There's one bridge gone. And come on, there we go. There's our second bridge. Now see how much better that worked? We did not have a blob first off, and I could demonstrate that again. Let's grab another board. Emerson says, I'm not getting your video notifications anymore. Yeah, that's typical of YouTube. YouTube doesn't like me. So let's grab two boards. I'm going to do the Amtech, and then I'll do mine again. So here is the Amtech, again, the NC 559. Same iron settings. Except that inductor's kind of in my way, but see how the solder, it's moving a bit, but we're leaving bridges behind. Oh. See how we're leaving bridges behind? Now, we'll go for the Amtech again. I mean the 759. See that difference? We're not leaving any bridges behind, removing our iron. We can move it effortlessly, and it just does not bridge. Even on these pins down here, I'm moving the solder back and forth. It just doesn't bridge. Get this out of there. Like that. That was the 759. So that's pretty much it for the live demo. We'll be doing a dedicated video on this. I just like to have a little live footage up there where you can see the difference without people saying I'm fixing the results. So it's kind of better that I do it in live where nothing is, you know, skipped or anything like that. So with that being said, that's it for today. Links in the description if you want to purchase 759 ASX. But that was that, and watch the video, look at the results yourself, and let me know what you think. So pretty much it for today.